presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and use the promo code. Welcome, one and all, to Light Years. Tommy, been in the chair too long. July 23rd. You know, it's the summer's not going the way we expected to go Warriors wise.
Not at all, man. I didn't, well, just quick. I was absent for the last couple of days on Twitter, on the pod. I had my birthday over the weekend, so I was celebrating with family and friends.
Happy birthday, brother.
I appreciate it, man. We're
42. Congrats.
Okay. You're one to talk. No, but I guess my point is I didn't even consider the fact, like when the free agency period started, that we wouldn't have something done by the time it was my birthday. It's about 3 weeks into free agency. But we're here and nothing has happened yet. But we did get a little gift within the last 30 minutes or so here.
You know, the only thing that's happened is Kuminga's agent now lashing out on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So, and you got to love it when the agent replies to a fan he does not follow who has about 1,000 followers. And I'm not shaming anyone in any capacity because it wouldn't matter if you had 100,000 followers. Just knowing that you're replying to someone who you are not following tells you everything you need to know. And so Kuminga's agent comes out here today, and the topic at hand that had been trending online, for those of you who are not terminally ill staring at Twitter all day, was, did the Warriors even offer him the supposed $30 million a year that we heard that they offered last year? Obviously, it was well reported that they did. And Aaron Turner, a1 at ARock20, ARock Turner 20, excuse me, look at the handle right. If you guys want to follow, let's get our guy to 1,000.
Let's do it.
No one on our side was turning down $30 million a year. Our camp is smarter than that. Narrative makes no sense. Twisted up Slater words, I think. Hashtag fake news.
The hashtag fake news makes it so much better. We were trying to brainstorm for like what to talk about tonight on the pod, and we're obviously at a stalemate a little bit. So it's not the easiest content cycle for us right now, but this was like seeing this tweet, and I don't think either one of us saw it till about 7 p.m., maybe 6:30. So only about an hour and a half ago. It was tweeted at 4:45 p.m. It was like going up to a beautiful girl at the bar at 1 a.m. and she's actually interested in you buying her a drink. It's okay. Okay. We're throwing a Hail Mary here, but something might work.
You want to talk about throwing Hail Marys? Hail Mary is Aaron Turner tweeting this out right now. Like, what are we doing, brother? Yeah. You flew Slater out to Cleveland. You put him up in like a fucking Renaissance Inn, a Howard Johnson. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's in Cleveland. It's certainly not a nice hotel. Have him watch Kuminga dunk against no defenders for 2 days and tell everyone how he wants to be a first option on a team. Get Slater to write quite frankly,
a puff piece.
A very pro Kuminga friendly way to analyze the situation. And this is where we're at. I'm not out here trying to defend anyone, but like Slater, he calls balls and strikes fair. And if anything, I feel like for the last year plus, he's probably been more charitable to Kuminga in this entire saga than anyone in the media. He's kind of presented it in what he perceives their position to be. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that position is informed by statements from representation. Like, sorry, I didn't wake up yesterday, like that's just kind of how it goes. And so for his agent to be coming out here and doing this sort of thing, I mean, reeks of desperation is the way I would put it.
100%. Well, let's not forget in that same puff piece where Kuminga said he wants to be a number one option. They reported that he was shooting 56% from three in his workouts. Not exactly an outstanding mark for an NBA player.
Where do you even get that? That's how you know the representation's working on it. It's like, where do you get the statistic of what he shot in a practice workaround? You only get that if you're like outright working with them. It's like, oh yeah, he went 57 of 102 on catch and shoot threes in practice. Like, that's not like, it's not an NBA game where like I can look up at the scoreboard and be like, Steph is 8 for 19 right now. You know, like there's not like an official scorekeeper calling balls and strikes. Like, private workouts are private workouts. They can disclose to you what they want.
Yeah, I mean, some of these, right. And they're obviously disclosing that information for a reason. And that's not information that I personally would have disclosed, because I believe that I could go into a gym right now, and I was a small college basketball player. I believe that I could make about 65% of my threes minimum in an open gym right now. What that shows me is a lack of understanding of, I think, just basketball in general, but where their client sits in the market. Like, that is not info that I would want to broadcast for my client. And that was obviously something that was, like you're alluding to, that's something that's put in that story because the representation is essentially telling Slater, hey, I think we should include this. You know, they think it's something important to his future, to his negotiations, to his market. And again, I think, this is to, I guess, to harp on the same point again and again. It feels like no side comes out of this looking good. Not Kuminga, not his agent, not the Warriors. Nobody looks good right now. And the longer this continues to drag on.
Honestly, this makes the Warriors look a lot better as far as I'm concerned.
Sure. But
I don't know that I enjoy the way they're playing it, because I feel like it's limiting their options to build the team. But this ain't making me feel like Mike and Joe are needlessly like hardballing a negotiation. This makes me feel like you're dealing with a side that doesn't have 2 feet rooted in reality.
They don't want to accept what their market is at this point. And look, one thing, and you said Slater has been very charitable to Kuminga's side, and I believe that to generally be true. But I think I've had my qualms about some of the stuff that's been published by the Athletic at large, just that leans a little bit too pro Warriors or pro this or pro that. I've aired those grievances on Twitter. But one thing that I will say about Slater, his reporting generally tends to be correct. It tends to be right. There's a reason he's with ESPN now, right? They're not hiring somebody that isn't a good reporter, that doesn't get the information correct. He is well sourced. So maybe the offer wasn't $30 million a year, but I would be shocked if it wasn't very close to that range last summer. I don't know what the offer is now, but the point is, what essentially, if you're just reading between the tea leaves, what they're being offered now is probably not very close to what they got offered last summer. And this tweet is kind of indicative of that. The tweet from Kuminga's agent.
Or can we take it in a different direction here?
Sure.
Because they might be right. They may have never got a formal offer in writing.
Sure.
Do you believe that Warrior management approached them about an extension?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you believe numbers were discussed?
100%.
I mean, the extended
malpractice not to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at this point it's abundantly clear they misread the market, no matter what. And maybe there's multiple things fault. Maybe the Warriors were too cold the way they did negotiations, all this stuff. Sure. But we're here now. It's clear they misread the market. And I know it's clear they misread the market. It's July 23rd. And it doesn't look like anything is going on here. And you could say the injury is a factor in that. You could say the Jimmy trade's a factor in that. You say all this stuff's a factor in it. The reality is we're sitting here. He's unsigned and nobody has money. And the one team that has money, everyone knew didn't want to sign him. So I don't know. I'm looking at this and I was trying to be charitable to all parties involved because you don't know. Like you hear stuff, you use your best logic. You've been around the block. You've done X, Y, Z, but you don't know the truth of the matter.
Sure.
When I see something like this, it's hard for me to look at it like, dude, you guys are just fucking amateurs, just clowns clowns the entire way through. Why are you doing this? Like, what is the gain here?
Yeah, they misread what the market was going to be this summer by not locking themselves into a deal last summer. Maybe there was no formal offer put on paper, like presented to him, but I would be sure. I mean, like you said, they worked on an extension with Moody. They got one done with Moody. And we can argue about whether there was, good work by Clutch or by Moody, or doesn't matter. They obviously were trying to work on rookie extensions with those guys. So it hasn't been reported anywhere that at least it wasn't discussed. The argument right now is about whether it was 5 years, 150. And maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was 5 years, 115, 5 years, 120. But I would assume the offer was somewhat reasonable. From what we've heard from Looney this summer and then from other players as well, maybe the Warriors don't always deal with the in the best way. It might be a little bit, they might try to lowball people. I think we've heard history of that, even going back to Steph's contract extension in 2017, where Joe didn't want to offer him the full max. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Warriors have kind of lowballed Kuminga last summer. But at the same time, you are a guy who hasn't made big money yet. He has not made 9 figures in the NBA. So in my opinion, you should always try to lock in that money as soon as possible. And what it really points to is probably just an inexperienced agent who didn't understand what the new CBA cap environment was going to look like and how that was going to really mess with restricted free agency. And we're seeing that with multiple teams across the league. And then what Kuminga's actual market was going to be. So it was just misreading by every side. I think every side misread the situation, but particularly right now, it looks like Kuminga and his agent.
I mean, well, let's get off of this right now. Like, at this point, what do you even want? Like, you, Tommy, a Warriors fan, a person who's sympathetic to the Warriors not playing disgusting basketball next season, what is your preferred outcome given where we are on July 23rd? Not your like dream, like, oh wow, it would be great if Giannis came available and we could trade Kuminga picks for him. Like, what is your realistic like hope for how this ends over the next couple weeks, months?
God, it feels too toxic at this point to bring him back. It just does. And even if I could talk myself into the basketball side, which I think I could, in a vacuum, you're telling me Melton signs, Horford signs, they get another wing shooter like Amir Coffey, maybe bring in Trey Lyles as well. And you kind of you get enough shooting to where you can make more of these Jimmy and Kuminga combinations make sense. You can make more of the Kuminga Draymond combinations make sense on the floor. I don't think it matters anymore. I don't think we're at a point where this is salvageable in any way, shape, or form. So it's almost, I mean, I heard you talking with Jason today on Hoops Tonight. The offers aren't very enticing, but I just don't want to do this for 8 more months, man. I don't want that as a Warriors fan. I don't think the organization wants that. I know Steve Kerr doesn't want that. I know Steph Curry and Draymond Green don't want that. And I don't think Kuminga wants that. Nobody wins right now in the situation where he comes back to the Warriors.
Only Joe wins.
Only Joe. Well, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
No. I mean, like, look, I obviously feel the same way. If he comes back, will I talk myself into a way to make it work? Duh. Like, of course I'm going to. But I agree with you. Like, there's no way. Like, it's too toxic now.
Yeah.
They're clearly unhappy with the way the market's played out. If you didn't know it before this, it should be abundantly clear to everyone. He views himself as a star. And he's kind of bothered by the fact that he's asked to be a non-star. And honestly, I kind of reject the framing, because if you're a basketball player, you're a basketball player. If he just applied himself to the role that Steve Kerr asked him, he would average more points per game than Jimmy. Just by running the court and using his athleticism as a cutter. He would probably get opportunities to go one-on-one just because of the reality of the season. Like, if he actually committed to what the Warriors were saying in the context with Jimmy and Steph, I think he would average 28 and 2, like, comfortably. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Jimmy's going to average 20. Like, I think Jimmy's comfortable averaging 7 assists, feeding him all game, that type of thing. But he doesn't want to do that. And we've known that for years, but at this point, it's abundantly obvious. So now you're dealing with a guy who has these expectations where he wants the ball in his hands. He wants to take shots. He's kind of been embarrassed over the summer, and it's still not the most natural fit. It's like it's going to take work to make it work because it's not like a seamless like Steph, Clay, Draymond, where it's like the fit's so obvious how those guys work. To your point, I just want him gone. I wish him luck wherever he goes. I want the Warriors to get a good return for him or something that you can play with going forward. But like it just feels like him returning and everyone lying in camp about how they're happy that he's back and how everyone's bought in, all for them hoping they can find a trade at the deadline. Like, I don't want to do that. No.
When was the last time a restricted free agent situation got this toxic? Nerlens Noel? I mean, it's not as outwardly toxic as that situation, but just like all of the bubbling beneath the surface, it just feels so. It feels like the two sides are so far apart on so many things.
Yeah, and like Nerlens, he's good. Like he can do things to help a team. Absolutely. No one, like, if anything, the issue is that he's good. The issue is he's living somewhere, like, he's not Wiseman where it was just obvious he was terrible. And he's not Cade Cunningham where it's obvious he's a franchise player. He's living in the middle there where he's good and it could go this way or it could go that way. Mm-hmm. But he's, and in some ways that makes it more complicated because in his mind, he's up here. And in the Warriors' mind, they're like, you're not there yet. We just want to, you're kind of, you're not there. So I don't know. It's hard to see how this gets to a positive place. That's I guess I don't need to ramble longer about it. I just don't see how this leads to a positive situation. I feel like the best situation for all parties is accept that you're going to sell him for less than you want, try to get something, and just move on to the next one.
Yeah, and again, it's ridiculous that they didn't do something the past couple deadlines because it was so obvious that it was going to come to a head like this. I think I tweeted about it, but I know I talked about this 18 months ago at the trade deadline. Like I know for a fact I did. I remember talking in the Discord, in the Light Years Discord, about how the year 3 trade deadline, that felt like the last time to really do something because after that, it felt like you could feel it in that moment when they didn't move him. It's like now, number one, they're not going to get sufficient value for what he could have gotten, for what he could have netted, because teams don't want a guy with 1 year left on his contract or 3 months left on his contract if you're going into the final year of that rookie extension or the rookie deal. So
because now you have to, if you trade for him a year earlier, you have 12 months to evaluate how much you really like him
and you get a full
and what he's really worth to you. Now you have to pay for it and hope. It's different. It's it's buying something on discount. To be honest, it's getting that freemium 6 months free before the subscription charge hits.
Mm-hmm.
See if you really like it before they start hitting your credit card with the $12.99 a month.
Exactly.
Versus, all right, you're gonna pay up front. You're gonna like this right now. So the whole thing's been mishandled on every side. It's not just his agent.
No,
his agent's just the main character tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like kind of a microcosm of the whole Twitter thing. Like the whole thing about Twitter is like there's a main character every day and you never want to be it. And it just feels like every person in this whole entire Kuminga Warriors, whoever else circle, there's a new main character almost every day. Some days we're talking about Mike being in the chair. Sometimes it's Joe. Today
we're all in the chair, brother.
Today it feels like Aaron Turner has taken the King's throne.
We're all playing Duck Duck Goose around a
musical
series of chairs. Yeah, we're playing musical chairs. That's what's going on right now. I'll tell you what I'm doing when I'm not in the chair, though. Playing some games on Prize Picks. That's what's going on with me, brother. Do you think Cal Raleigh's going to get to 60 plus homers?
Man, dude, it feels like he should be slowing down, but he isn't. The big
I'm very invested in this story. I'm very invested. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that a catcher has a legitimate shot to hit 60 plus homers. Is insane. The dude has insane power. It's fun to watch. It's not the Shohei thing where it's just like, how does he pitch and hit like this? But it's like, it's pretty close for me, or like as close as you can get without like truly being out there, where it's just like, I just want to see something I haven't seen. I've never seen a catcher who can truly rake like him. So it's got me locked into Prize Picks every day, picking the more on his home runs. And it's been working out for me because the dude is just fucking raking all day. Guys, basketball season may be over, but the action doesn't stop on Prize Picks because baseball's heating up. Step up to the plate with Prize Picks and add your favorite baseball players to the lineups. Whether it's strikeouts, home runs, first inning runs, or dingers, like I like to do. Make your call more or less and play for your shot to win up to 2,000x your cash. Guys, download the app today. Use the code LIGHTYEARS, get $50 instantly when you play first $5. That's code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5. Prize Picks, run your game.
Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by Factor. When was the last time you had a meal that was both healthy and delicious? It made you feel good, right? Have you ever had that same feeling when taking a supplement? Well, now you can with Factor Form. Most of us dread drinking greens, but Factor Form has changed the game. You'll actually crave your greens. As a sister brand of Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is a green powder by Factor Form that you'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. I've tried to do just like the juicing thing or like the smoothie thing before. And, you know, it's fun for like a couple weeks. But then you have to constantly go out and buy the ingredient or buy all the vegetables, the fruits. And it's very time consuming. But with these Factor Form, just one little pouch, you get everything you need. It's just much less time consuming because we all have too much to do during the day to worry about stuff like this. So start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/lightyears to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/lightyears for 40% off plus free shipping. Factor75.com/lightyears.
You know who's not in the chair?
Who?
Well, 29 other teams, to be fair.
It's nobody associated with the Warriors.
Yeah. But a couple days ago, I want to talk with you about it. The Lakers signed Marcus Smart, who always to me felt like a Warriors player. Now, you know, it's been a minute since he's been that dude, but you can't tell me when you saw the Lakers sign him, part of you didn't go, man, I always liked him on the Warriors.
Yeah, okay, 2020 Marcus Smart, 2019 Marcus Smart, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna,
before he turned 40, Marcus Smart.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to remember that. We want to look at how many games Marcus Smart has played over the last 3 seasons. Do we want to check that out really quick? Or last 2? Let's just go with.
Does it add up to more or less than your current age?
It's slightly more, but he started less games in the last 2 seasons than how old I am.
No,
I'm going to put. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, if you're telling me we could have gotten like the best version of Marcus Smart, sure, I would have done that. But this version right here, for the people that can't see, Marcus Smart has played 54 games in the last 2 seasons. He started only 27. No, I don't have any regrets over Marcus Smart signing with the Lakers. And I mean, I guess he helps. Like he can take some defensive pressure off of LeBron. Like he can guard fours, but like really where they struggled last year is like guarding guards, you know, guarding a Steph, guarding an Ant.
I know, right?
You know, like Marcus.
Their entire roster is fours. They just don't know it. Like that's actually my favorite thing about the Lakers. Like every player on their roster is best playing the Draymond role, playing like the Jimmy role as like kind of an off-ball, like low man who kind of helps.
It would help.
I don't know who's guarding the ball.
It would help. It would help both like the Lakers and the Warriors if they could like just swap 2 players from each of their teams. You know what I mean? like the Lakers take a couple of the Warriors guards, and then the Warriors take a couple of the Lakers wings. Like,
well, the Warriors currently have 9 players, so they can't be giving up anyone. But I hear what you're saying.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. But yeah, I mean, I guess he helps them. It's just more depth early their season. But if he's gonna play 30 something games, like I don't know. I guess the Lakers have done an okay job this offseason. But they haven't moved me. You know, I like.
Well, so like that's my question because they've also had, I don't want to call it a milquetoast off season because that's unfair, but like they've made moves in the margins. They've done opportunistic things as opposed to, and granted, like the Warriors, they made their big move in February, like, but they actually, you know what I mean? They get Luka. Obviously the LeBron thing's a little uncomfortable right now. We'll see how that plays out, but they're just kind of like, they don't want to commit a ton of money in a specific direction right now. They're just looking to make kind of like small tweaks to see where it goes.
I mean, everything that I'm
which I think is actually what we wanted the Warriors to do.
Yeah.
And I legitimately didn't think it was a big ask, but a month later. Anyway.
Well, we know why it's a big ask, because they need to know what number Kuminga's at before they know if they can use potentially the Kyle Anderson trade exception, or like if they have access to the biannual or the mid. Like, we know why it hasn't happened, but it doesn't.
All those things are kind of downstream of getting an answer on the Kuminga situation.
Right. It doesn't make it any less annoying, but at least there is reason for it if you're locked into this stuff enough. I actually kind of like Ayton for the Lakers. I know that's crazy. I think he's going to be, I mean, I know you don't, but like, I think he's going to be helpful for them. It's like him or Jackson Hayes, man. Like, it's an upgrade over Jackson Hayes.
I'm not convinced it is.
Okay. Are you serious?
Bro, they're both terrible. He's more talented. Let's be honest. Did you watch him in Portland last year?
No, I didn't. I value my mental health. I did not watch DeAndre Ayton play basketball in Portland. I didn't watch Portland Trailblazers much.
The checkout factor, I don't know. I have a very, very hard time with players who give that little fucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like, I'm not talking about taking a possession off, or mid-January you're getting a C- effort. I'm talking about the entire thing. At no point taking any pride in the entire thing. I hate him as a player. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I get it.
It's, and I also get your perspective, which is like, he doesn't even need to give a full fuck to be better than Jackson Hayes. He needs to give like a partial fuck.
It's their version of, what they would hope is like the Andrew Wiggins trade for the Warriors back in 2021.
But they don't have but here's my thing. They don't have a culture.
No, I understand that.
It's like, I would hate Ayton on the Warriors, but I would bet on Steph and Draymond being able to get as close as possible to getting whatever they can out of him. With the Lakers, you're dealing with like LeBron, who's unhappy about his contract. Kind of like, I don't know, the whole situation screams you're probably not going to squeeze the juice out of the guy who's talented, but let's call him mercurial, whatever you want to call it, right? So,
I mean, if
Luka, I think he's gonna have like a November 14th game where he goes 24-17, and everyone's going nuts about like, oh, did they get the steal of free agency? Kind of like they did with Dalton Connect last year in the draft. And I think reality is going to hit them a little bit.
I do agree with you. I mean, if he was with the Warriors, it would either be Draymond punches him within the first 3 months, or they get him they whip him into shape. Like if Luka Doncic is the guy who's trying to motivate you to like give a fuck and stay in shape, that's probably not going to go quite as well. So I do understand your point on that. But I think as long as LeBron's locked in, that has an okay chance of working. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
That's like my concern about it. So like I view them as a team who's making moves that I would trust the Celtics, the Heat, the Warriors, the Thunder, Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Although Spurs, I don't know if I should put them on the list anymore. But like teams who have like a certain identity. Like the Knicks, honestly, the Knicks, I'll trust Tibbs on this one. Tibbs is going to get him to play hard, or he's not going to play him, period.
Sure.
It's going to be a very quick decision there. I don't know. I guess it's like my question for you is, would you rather have their offseason or where the Warriors offseason is going right now, which is in theory, we're going to get conclusion with Kuminga and then Horford and Melton God, I don't even know what's going to happen if Horford and Melton don't sign with the Warriors. Like it's so far gone at this point.
You guys, you'll see me in October. That's what's going to happen. I'll be here for the first game of the season.
Bro, no. Horford throwing up a Players Tribune article on his retirement next week. will just destroy me. And then our guy Brett Siegel will put out that the Warriors have moved on to Trey Lyles and Chris Boucher, and I'm just gonna be like, oh, no, I can't have this.
Why'd you have to put that image in my head? Anyway, I mean, I can't really call it. Like, I want to sit here and say, oh, I'd rather have this one or that one, but like, I wouldn't have minded Ayton and Laravia and Marcus Smart. I think those would have been meaningful improvements to this roster. But I do think the Warriors can end up in a better position if they navigate this correctly. I truly believe that. And you're betting on, obviously there's a health risk with Melton and Horford's old, but if you get an okay return for Kuminga, it doesn't even have to be something fantastic. If you can get Io or you can get, I don't know, a combination. I saw the combination of like Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal that was floated, and it's like that's not the most inspiring thing ever, but like I don't know, Grayson.
I'm gonna be very upset if that's the trade.
Grayson can kind of score it, and Royce still has some like small ball forward juice. Like,
what the fuck do you want to do with Grayson Allen and Buddy Hield together?
Yeah, well, then you can move Buddy for something else. I love Buddy, but like, or you can move Grayson in a subsequent deal.
Game 7 in Houston.
I know. It's not my preference.
You're throwing him away for Grayson.
Don't do this to me.
You're throwing him away for Ted Cruz.
Don't do this. Do not do this to me. I was like the preeminent Buddy guy all year. Everybody was too hard on him. And now he's, it stamped himself a little bit. But you can move Grayson in a subsequent deal. It's not a great contract, but it's also not a terrible one. It's something that a team would probably be willing to take on for a pick, if it's the right deal. But my point is, they got to get something back for Kuminga. Like, I'm not going to be able to fully judge this until I see what happens. I wish I could give some all
right, let me ask you this
hard stance on it, but
let's assume they are getting friend of the show, D'Anthony Melton. Officially, he's a friend of the show.
Officially friend of the show.
And Al Horford.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the other piece on the roster, Steph, Jimmy, Pods. That's it. Those are the big three.
Kuminga?
Yeah. No, what do you want? What do you want for? What are you looking for skill set wise? If those two are given on the roster,
please no more fucking guards, man. I've heard the Brogdon thing floated. No.
Oh, I disagree with you. I disagree with you so much. Not
Steph,
on Brogdon, on the guard thing. On the guard
Steph, thing. Buddy, Pods, Moody, GP2
Buddy's
probably is back. So this is my point, though. I'm not doing another season of this, man.
Did you not just see OKC win the title with 4 guards and a center who weighs less than me?
Their guards are linebackers. Their guards are.
That's what I'm saying. Are you telling me you wouldn't want Io?
I would take Io. That's a different player than Malcolm Brogdon. Way different. Io can protect the rim. Io guards the ball. Like it's a different type of player.
Okay, so can we just say that, because that's my point. That's my point. I think Melton can guard the ball. I'm not expecting him day one off injury to be the guy he was pre-injury. Totally. So I want a little insurance there. I want him to be an 8th man instead of a starter, personally. I think if Melton and Horford are on this roster, the number one thing I want is a point of attack defender. And the number 2 thing I want, and this goes hand in hand with Kuminga, so it could be technically number 1, is a big wing front court player. Essentially, I want them to get upgrades to Moody and Kuminga. Let me be honest with you. That's like what it comes down to. I want the players that they thought those 2 guys were going to be. One of those guys is point of attack, backcourt guy. And kind of in the modern NBA, that guy is kind of more of a Io, Derek White, Caruso, 6'3", but with a 6'9" wingspan, like built like a linebacker, get to under guys, has the length.
A safety. You built like a safety at the very least.
You know what I mean? Little Cam Chancellor, that type of thing. Exactly. Yeah, but they and to be honest, it makes sense. It makes sense because they can actually get under guys without getting fouls called on them, and then they have the length to disrupt them the entire way, right? So, like, I don't know. It feels trendy that those type of guys are like, but there's only like 10 of them in the league. Let's be honest. So, and then I want a guy who was what Harrison Barnes did, was what they were hoping Kuminga would do, was what Wiggins and obviously KD, like, I don't want to put him in this equation, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like a big wing who plays a 4, because I feel actually pretty confident about Horford, Quentin Post, Trace, small ball Draymond as my 5-man combos. I just want a guy who's going to play next to those guys and actually do the things required of playing the 4 on a consistent basis other than Draymond. So basically, I want a guy who can bang and is willing to use physicality, can stick a 3.
Yeah, and in a pinch, he can, like, you know, play the 5 for 3 minutes if he absolutely has to on a random night. You know, I mean, I think Trey Lyles is the name that's been floated a lot. I would love that. I think that would be a great signing.
I'd like him too. I think he falls into the Trace Quentin Post category of they'll get you through regular season. You ride him in certain matchups. I'm hoping for someone a little better.
But who is that guy and where's he coming from? I would love it too.
Obviously, we're trading Kuminga for Caleb Johnson.
Right, exactly. How would you feel? And this is a different type of player. How would you feel about former all defensive team member, one Mr. Ben Simmons? I've talked myself into it. I've talked myself into it.
I mean, I'll take him. Don't get me wrong. Ben Simmons, Quentin Post 2-man game will be unstoppable.
It's nice. I mean, I don't think you can count on him for anything real, but he's like nice regular season Draymond insurance. I know he didn't look great with the Clippers last year, but a lot of that is because, like, okay, look who he's playing with. He's playing with Kawhi and Harden and Norm Powell, who are going to sit there and dribble and chuck, and they're not going to move the ball. They're not going to. It's just not a system that's going to work for Simmons, especially at this point in his career where he's like more physically limited. Ben Simmons is the type of guy that we've seen again and again and again and again. The Warriors get more out of because of his skill set. He can't shoot, he can't score, but
I was Ben Simmons curious for years.
I know,
but even I can't go there anymore. I'm willing to too far gone, you know.
Yeah, but if he's on a vet min, if it's like okay,
well, if he's on a vet min,
right.
Obviously.
That's my point though. So, he's a free agent. You get Melton, you get Horford, whatever Kuminga nets. Let's say it's 2 players, one guy who's going to help, another that's just salary filler. And
honestly,
then
this is the chat's throwing a good trade out here. Moody and a first for PJ Watt, like, because they actually have just too many power forwards.
They could have. I recommended this deal at the 2023 deadline. Moody and Kuminga,
yeah, but they didn't have Cooper Flag then, and they didn't have
Davis then. This is when he was a Charlotte Hornet. This is when he was on the Charlotte Hornets. This is when Dallas traded for him. You could have probably done Moody in a first for PJ Washington at that time. Their contracts matched then. I'm talking about the season where Warriors end up losing to the Lakers in the second round, and really all it felt like they needed was a playable small ball 4. And maybe they don't win the title, but it felt like they would have been much closer because you're starting.
Well, I think you're that's something that you and I feel strongly about, which is like this specific. I think the 2 archetypes they need are ironically the 2 most underrated archetypes you can find.
Yeah,
which is a legitimate point of attack defender who knows how to play a role on offense. Mm-hmm. Like everyone, this entire postseason, watching people like wax poetic about Caruso, I'm like, duh, you know, like he's
awesome.
He's been so underrated for so long. You know, it's the Drew Holiday thing. It's
the Andre Iguodala thing.
Yeah, but Andre got his praise eventually, and Andre, like, there is the truth to like Andre being 6'7" and a dunk champion.
Sure,
got a little more credibility than this 6'3" white guy, you know. So, like, that's the reality of it. And the second is like, I mean, PJ Washington is essentially a more physically reliable version of what Otto Porter was for the Warriors in 2022. But like, and I hated on Harrison Barnes a decade ago. And you know, he deserved it in the 2016 finals, but like the amount of 6'8", 6'9", can switch on to the guards, can guard 4 positions, will rebound like a big, and can consistently stick a 3 at 40%. Like, it's the same thing as a point of attack defender. 10 of those in the league.
Yeah.
How many guys are there that like actually can do that and have the balls to do that when they don't have offense run for them, because that's the other part of it. I know you feel strongly about this, but like, how many shots a game does a guy like PJ Washington get? 10?
Yeah. If
10
that.
in 35 minutes. He's expected to physically play his ass off all game. And then those 6 corner threes he gets, he better hit 3 of them or he's a bum. It's a lot of, it's a little different than like, the ball's in your hands all game, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would take PJ in a heartbeat, I think is the point, but like they do need that archetype. And it's just kind of reflecting back on it. It's funny how like essentially the early Dynasty Warriors almost like lucked into the right style of play. Like you luck into the 5-man who can kind of do it all. And obviously Draymond's undersized, but like Chet is a version of that, right? Where it's like a 5-man who can protect the rim and like isn't like great at any one thing offensively, but he can kind of do everything like peak Draymond could. Like he can do everything at a good level, but nothing at a great level. And then they lucked into like when they drafted Harrison Barnes, they weren't thinking, oh, stretch 4, but that's essentially what he was for those teams. And now it feels like they cannot find that anymore. And they cannot find the point of attack defender anymore. It's like, how can you guys not at least be a little bit reflexive on the past? And like, just remember what worked initially with these teams. And obviously the league has changed since then, but
do you think it's that they don't know it? Or do you think it's that the league's got smarter and a decade ago they could get a Caruso type for 2 seconds? Like a decade ago, people didn't value it and they could get it for quote unquote pennies on the dollar. And now they got to pay retail. And they're like, do I have to pay retail for this now? Do you get what I'm saying?
They traded a first for Andre, man. And they had like, that was a pretty complicated transaction that they had to pull off to get Andre in the first place. And like you're saying, Andre did have a little bit more cachet. You're talking about a former All-Star. He's a one-time All-Star coming to your team. Obviously, he had been great with the Nuggets too.
Team USA in 2022.
Sure.
Or sorry, 2012. My bad.
Sure, but like, I don't know. Like, the market is what the market is. I feel like we're talking in circles now. Kuminga's agent doesn't understand what the market is. The Warriors don't understand what the fucking market is. They want to get Jimmy Butler for 1 first-round pick. And they did that. Congratulations to them. They pulled off that transaction. But the only reason that even happens is because Jimmy got backed into a corner because Beal wouldn't waive his no trade clause. There was no other suitors. So you kind of luck into that. And like, you can applaud them for being patient and waiting for the market to come to them. But sometimes you gotta overpay a little bit for something. And that is the holding pattern we've been stuck in for the last 36 months. And I'm fucking tired of it.
Doesn't this all go back to the top of the show, which is until I see what they get for Kuminga? Because even if the things they get for Kuminga is not the things you want, I need to know the things you have to work with.
Right.
Anyway, to the chair.
Just real quick before we get out of here, I think this is a great, because I was thinking about this earlier today by a guy, No Cap. Cam Johnson went for an unprotected first. Lacob would never do that, and that is the whole crux to me. Cam Johnson goes for a 2032 first round pick. And that's a risky move by Denver because 7 years out, you don't know where Jokic is going to be. He might just be, raising horses back in Serbia. But they're willing to at least risk a little bit of skin to improve their team. And right now, it feels like the Warriors front office is not willing to do that. In fact, they want a first-round pick back for Jonathan Kuminga instead of saying, hey,
Get what? Maybe for us, Aaron Turner.
Yeah. Oh, God. But instead of saying, hey, maybe we can field some better offers if we're willing to move off of a first at some point. Again, the market is not always going to come to you. Sometimes you got to go make some shit shake. And it just feels like we're stuck in this same holding pattern until one side is willing to budge a little bit.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thanks, man.
Leave it there. There. You're not getting this for your birthday present, but I know. hopefully for
maybe by Labor Day.
Labor Day?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Rosh Hashanah, Thanksgiving. I don't know. We go through the holidays. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Leave it out there. Appreciate everyone. Love you guys.
Thanks, everybody.